Hello and welcome to Newsround, where you get a recap of top stories for the week. Coming up, drama during Senate hearing of a petition from Senator Akpoti Uduaghan as former Minister of Education Obi Ezekwesili and Senator Onyekachi Nwebonyi trade words. Senate rejects motion to immortalize late Professor Humphrey Nwosu, leading to a tense exchange among lawmakers before ultimately being rejected. An historic moment as Professor Kingsley Kwame successfully performs Nigeria's first robotic prostate surgery. Plus, massive 7.7 magnitude earthquake wreaks havoc in Myanmar, Thailand. And we begin Newsround with the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges officially dismissing the sexual harassment petition filed by a senator representing Kogi Central, Senator Natasha Akpoti Uduaghan, against the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, and adjourned the case. And the chairman of the committee, Senator Neda Maswen, made the declaration when counsel to the petitioner, Dr. Biola Akikoide Afolabi, appeared before the Ethics Committee. The counsel, who was accompanied by former Minister of Education, Mrs. Obi Ezekwesili, alleged bias and lack of fair hearing by the Senate Committee.
Barely 3 weeks after the suspension of Kogi lawmaker, Senator Natasha Akpoti Uduaghan, counsel to the petitioner, appeared before the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petition, led by its chairman, Senator Neda Maswen.
In this regard,
during the hearing session, there is an initial hiccup as the counsel to Senator Akpoti Uduaghan first calls for the recusal of the committee chairman, Senator Neda Maswen, citing bias, particularly in the prior comment made on March 5, where the chairman had described the case as dead on arrival.
Until when we read that the rule of this House and that Constitution, that's when we can say that we have fair hearing and justice in this regard. In this regard, what the petitioner had said is that, based on that press briefing, whether it was before Natasha was sent out of the National Assembly or not, gives an impression that the chairman of the committee has a particular understanding of this issue and could be said to be biased.
The chairman immediately defended his earlier comments, explaining why it was pertinent to dismiss the case.
From the position that I can see you are taking, it means the whole Senate is biased, because the whole Senate witnessed what happened on the floor.
However, former Minister of Education, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, who came as a witness to the suspended senator, described what transpired at the Ethics Committee as a gross degradation of the Constitution and the laws of the land. However, while she made her remarks, tension escalated and the atmosphere grew chaotic as a heated exchange erupted between her and Senator Peter Nwebonyi.
I will not take it. You can never be here. People like you can never be here. People like you can never be here. How can you be? How can you be a fool? You are a hooligan. Don't insult me. I will just keep my mouth shut. Who are you, Professor? Who are you? Are you the presiding officer? Who are you? And you refuse.
Calm was later restored.
Two things. One, the petitioner said he will not speak to his petition because the Senate is biased, or I'm biased, or the committee is biased. Two, the respondent has just told us, and the papers are before you, that this case is before a competent court of law. Therefore, this committee will allow a court of law that will not be biased to handle this matter. Therefore, this matter is closed here at the Senate and is adjourned sine die.
As the case stands adjourned sine die and the parties aggrieved, it isn't clear what the next line of action for the Senate will be. From the National Assembly, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
And staying with the Red Chamber, where there was tension following the rejection of a motion to immortalize former chairman of the National Electoral Commission, late Professor Humphrey Nwosu. The motion was brought under matters of urgent public importance by Senator Iyinaya Baribe and co-sponsored by members of the Minority Caucus. However, the motion was rejected by the lawmakers, causing Senator Baribe to surprisingly walk out of the plenary session.
What started as a routine session on the second day of plenary in the Senate took an unexpected turn when Senator Iyinaya Baribe raised a motion of urgent public importance, calling for the immortalization of late Professor Humphrey Nwosu, former chairman of the National Electoral Commission.
The courageous defense of democratic electoral process during the 1993 presidential election led to the famous June 12 slogan, which ultimately confirmed Alhaji MKO Abiola as the winner.
It's okay. As soon as Senator Baribe began his submission, the Senate's leader interrupted with a point of order, citing procedural issues.
My point of order is pursuant to Order 41, Sub 3 of our rules, moving a motion under Combined Orders 41 and 51. Shall ensure that copies of the motion are available for all senators.
A back and forth then ensued. Senator Baribe's motion stirred controversy, exposing divisions among lawmakers over the legacies and role of the late NEC chairman in the June 12, 1993 presidential elections. The continuation of the motion was imperiled, compelling the Deputy Senate President who presided to call for a voice vote.
It's a bit controversial. Some see him as someone who truncated June 12. Some see him as a hero of June 12. So it's up to you. We'll put the question. Those in favor that this motion should go through, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The nays have it.
Senator Baribe again tried to speak, but the House rule was again quoted.
By the fact that a senator wants to make a personal explanation, you must give that senator a chance to make that personal explanation. We are not under a dictatorship, Mr. President.
Personal opinions and personal matters not to be raised under Order 10 is to truncate the independence of senators and to not allow them to interject in the proceedings of the Senate to raise issues that are very fundamental and fundamental to them and their constituencies.
Mr. President, I don't know what is controversial for immortalizing Humphrey Nwosu and June 12. What is controversial there?
Right after, Senator Baribe walks out of the Senate's chamber in protest. When tensions subsided, the lawmakers proceed with another motion raised by Senator Asuko Ekpenyong, seeking to probe the rising cost of data services in the country.
The Senate is further concerned that the reasons provided by telecom providers for the data price hike include high operational costs, unfavorable exchange rates, are untenable, and appears that instead of addressing the root causes of the high cost of doing business in Nigeria, the burden is being unfairly transferred to end users.
Mandate the Committee on Communications to conduct an investigation into the factors driving the high cost of data and try to provide solutions for a sustainable and business-friendly telecommunications sector. Those in support of prayer 4 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Meanwhile, the Senate has also passed a bill for the compulsory registration of citizens, aiming to overhaul Nigeria's identity management system through the repeal and reenactment of the National Identity Management Commission Act. From the National Assembly, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
And still at the Senate, the upper legislative chambers pushing for same-day elections in a bid to cut costs and boost voter turnout. The proposed amendment to the Electoral Act 2022 is scaled second reading, with lawmakers debating its impact on Nigeria's democratic process. Leading the debate on the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2025, Senator Saliu Mustafa highlighted the unsustainable cost of elections, which has snowballed from 1.5 billion naira in 1999 to 350 billion naira in 2023.
For the third day running, the House of Representatives has listed a number of constitution amendment bills for second reading. But before then, the Majority Leader of the House moves for a rescission on 2 bills which scaled second reading the previous day.
A bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended to qualify the immunity conferred on the President, remove the immunity conferred on the Vice President, the governors and their deputies, and the other is a bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to review the penalties for certain capital offenses in alignment with relevant international best practices and for related matters. We're aware that the provisions of the bills require that the House will take a second look at it.
It's something that we have to debate later on in more detailed form. And I thank you for your understanding, the sponsors of the bill. They also understood that for now, we'll keep it until we debate later on in a more thorough, comprehensive form. Thank you.
Afterwards, 32 constitution amendment bills are read for the second time. Some of the notable bills include a bill for an act to alter the Constitution to provide for the office of the Prime Minister as head of government and the office of President as head of state. A bill for an act to alter the Constitution to provide for specific seats for women in the National and State Houses of Assembly. A bill for an act to alter the Constitution to reduce the lengthy period for determination of pre-election petition matters and provide for the establishment of pre-election tribunals for pre-election matters and to regulate the process of suspending a member of the National Assembly from legislative duties. A bill for an act to alter the Constitution to review the requirements that qualifies a person to be elected as President and Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, governors and deputy governors. A bill for an act to alter the Constitution to review the status of the Federal Capital Territory as regards the election of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as well as bills for the creation of one state and Gobir state. Meanwhile, the House, through a motion, has resolved to investigate allegations of abuse of tax incentives, tax breaks, and tax waivers.
It bordered on loss of trillions of naira, based on abuse of fiscal policies, evasion of taxes, which we need to rise up to and curb now.
The House mandated committees on industry, finance, and commerce to investigate the allegations and report back within a period of 4 weeks. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
And to security matters now, 5 out of the 12 inmates that escaped from the Kotunkafi Medium Custodial Facility in Kogi State have been rearrested. The Acting Controller General of the Nigerian Correctional Service, Nwaku Ndidi, made this known, says the service is determined to recapture the remaining 7 inmates.
Kotunkafi, a sleepy and quiet town, is in the news again following a Monday morning prison incident at the medium custodial facility in the town. Following the escape of 12 inmates, the Controller General of the Nigerian Correctional Service leads heads of other security agencies in Kogi State on a visit to the facility. After inspecting the facility, the Controller General narrates the incident.
We are having very good synergy with all the security agencies to make sure that these inmates that escaped are recaptured. Unfortunately, we lost one of my staff, so that is the position of things. At the moment, investigation is ongoing to get to the roots of the whole situation.
The facility recorded jailbreaks in 2014 and 2016, and the Controller General clarifies that the latest incident is not a jailbreak.
The ones that happened before, you can see that the walls are now very solid walls, well fabricated and put in place. It's just unfortunate that this one happened. It's not a jailbreak, neither will you consider it an outward aggression, because we have enough personnel here. It's just unfortunate, and the Honorable Minister of Interior, Dr. Lubimi Ojo, I can assure you, will get to the root of this incident, because anybody who is found complicit in this particular issue will be adequately dealt with.
For the government of Kogi State, the incident is unacceptable.
First, the Excellency received the information as early as the controller of Kogi Command passed the information to me, and he wants to express his condolence to the CGL Correctional Service on the loss of that gallant correctional officer. And the governor said this is not acceptable to the government to talk about jailbreak. It is not a jailbreak, but escape from custody.
The federal government has ordered an immediate investigation into the incident, while the Correctional Service has activated mechanisms to recapture the remaining inmates still on the run.
Well, it's no doubt the legal profession remains one of the most respected in the country, yet Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, has expressed worry over the practice of law in the country, lamenting the downturn in the adherence to ethical principles in the legal profession. The CJN was speaking at the public presentation of the report of directions of the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee.
This is the maiden annual lecture of the body of benchers and senior officials, including Vice President Kashim Shettima, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa of Ondo State, and former Minister of Works, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, have joined to witness the presentation of the report of the directions of the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee.
This maiden lecture.
The discussion here focuses on maintaining the ethics of the legal profession.
There are common agreements that the standard of lawyers being produced are of less quality than the years when the body was established. And so, minimum qualification and perhaps age should be considered. The question then is whether the law degree should be made a second degree holder before being offered admission to the Nigerian Law School. There are beliefs that the ethics of legal profession has also suffered deterioration.
The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, shares her thoughts on the subject matter and recommends enforcement of professional discipline.
Today, more than ever, there's an urgent need to recommit ourselves to the fundamental values of ethics, discipline, and professional responsibility. It is instructive to note that the body of benchers, as the apex institution of the legal profession in Nigeria, is uniquely positioned to lead the charge in this regard.
The Vice President applauds the judiciary for standing firm against vested interest, which he believes has safeguarded the nation's democratic future.
It is the clearest affirmation that a nation is not governed by a mob. That is why we recognize that the mandate entrusted to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was affirmed by a judiciary that did not yield to the weight of vested interests. A judiciary that understood that the fate of a nation is too sacred to be intimidated by any party or bartered for compromise.
Following different sanctions on erring lawyers and judges, the keynote speaker, a senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, believes the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee has to do more to address indiscipline among legal professionals.
I will add my own words to those great words by simply saying that a poor bar portends a poor future, and a good bar portends a better future. And this must be the imperative for members of the body, not only to keep their hands firmly placed on the regulatory door of admission to the bar. They must also now lead a crusade of urgency to remove unsuitable persons and characters before they bring the house down.
The report of the directions of the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee is then unveiled. Emanuela Ekele, Channels Television News.
And it was a medical milestone in Nigeria's history as Channels Television exclusively witnessed the first ever robotic surgery in the country performed by renowned Professor Kingsley Ekweme. The consultant, urologist and robot surgeon who has dedicated his career to pushing the boundaries of medical excellence in Nigeria is promising to lead the future of urological care in sub-Saharan Africa while combining cutting-edge robotic technology with world-class expertise for minimally invasive treatments.
It's a historic moment at the Prostate Clinic, Nigeria, where Professor Kingsley Ekweme and his team are preparing for the pioneer robotic-assisted radical prostatectomy. This pre-surgical meeting affords Professor Ekweme to set the ground rules with explanations of the workings of the robotic technology.
Those blue ones are the robot arms that we're going to. On the right-hand side, the fourth arm is usually the first one on the right-hand side of the patient.
Next, the consultant urologist and robotic surgeon takes me to the Lady Caroline Theatre. And the moment of truth arrives as Professor Ekweme takes the reins, guiding the robotic arms with skill and precision. And after minutes of carefully dissecting the patient, the surgery is a success.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, team. It's been a fantastic day. We've done the first robot case in Nigeria. Well done. This is the Da Vinci robot. That's the state-of-the-art robot system. With the robot, you have 3 times magnification in 3D of vision unparalleled by anything that we've ever seen in surgery before. And with the robot, you have 7 degrees of freedom of movement. It means that the robot arm has been designed to perform like a human arm with 7 degrees of freedom. And that means that you can reach any depth and have every maneuver 360 degrees and be able, with the magnification and the 3D image, to peel off all the nerves, the blood vessels. You could see today hardly any bleeding, and just by docking the robot through keyholes into the abdomen of the patient, we've been able to detach the prostate, save his nerves with minimal discomfort. And I'm really very pleased that we've been able to achieve that at the prostate clinic for the first time, and to pioneer the advancement of surgery for our country.
The impact of this medical milestone will be felt far beyond this operating room. But for the pioneer and trailblazer, Professor Kingsley Ekweme, who is leading the future of urological care in Nigeria, this feat is a testament to the power of innovation and dedication. Kelly Egiga, Channels Television News.
And at least 1,000 people have lost their lives after a 7.7 magnitude earthquake in Mandalay, Myanmar's second largest city. Tremors from the earthquake were felt in neighboring countries, including Thailand, and a completed high-rise building collapse. Many are believed to be trapped in the debris. Communication lines are down and transportation services disrupted. The ruling military junta has reportedly made a rare call for international aid. Myanmar's giant neighbors, China and India, are among the first to send teams to help with rescue efforts. And those were the top stories for the week. Thank you for watching. I'm Ladi Williams. Bye for now.